Swallowing occurs in two stages, the oropharyngeal and esophageal stages. At the start of a swallow, a food bolus is voluntarily pressed by the tongue up against the roof of the mouth and backwards towards the pharynx. In response to activation of pharyngeal pressure receptors, the swallowing center in the medulla initiates reflexes that prevent food entry into respiratory passageways. The uvula contracts, which blocks the nasal passages from the pharynx. The laryngeal muscles contract, closing the glottis at the top of the trachea by tightly aligning the vocal folds. The epiglottis swings down upon the closed glottis. With all airways blocked off, respiration is temporarily inhibited. As the upper esophageal sphincter relaxes, pharyngeal contractions drive the bolus into the esophagus. The oropharyngeal stage is done and breathing resumes. During the esophageal stage, a primary wave of peristalsis initiated by the swallowing center pushes the bolus through the esophagus. As the bolus travels through the esophagus, the lower esophageal sphincter relaxes, allowing the food to enter the stomach. If the bolus is sticky and adheres to the esophagus, secondary peristaltic waves triggered by the intrinsic plexus at the point of distension completely clear the esophageal lumen to finish the swallow.
In this side view of the head, you can see the structures involved with the process of swallowing, such as the tongue, teeth, epiglottis, and esophagus. The teeth are used to grind and chop up food into tiny pieces, while the glands in the mouth moisten the food with saliva. Then, the tongue pushes the moistened food, which is called a bolus, to the back of the throat and down into the esophagus, which leads to the stomach. Let's watch the swallowing process again, step by step. In the first stage of swallowing, the tongue pushes the food into the throat. In the second stage of swallowing, an important small flap of tissue called the epiglottis folds over the voice box at the entrance to the windpipe, preventing food from going down the wrong way. In the final stage, the esophagus contracts and moves food toward the stomach. Excuse me.